Welcome to Texture Town, Population U. Hello everybody, my name is Kalyan Digital and welcome to our masterclass on textures. No, but seriously, if you're here, that means you want to take your 3D models from boring to BAM. Look at this masterpiece. And you know what? You've come to the right place. Today we're diving deep into the world of texturing and materials. We're talking about the secrets, the tips, the tricks, the whole shebang. Get ready to elevate your 3D game. So, first up, we've got to talk about what texture mapping actually is. Imagine you're wrapping a gift, but instead of a boring old box, it's a super cool 3D model of like a dragon or something. Texture mapping is basically taking a two-dimensional image, your wrapping paper, and perfectly sticking it onto your 3D model. This is how we add all those sweet details like colors, patterns, you name it. It's like magic, but instead of a wand, we've got pixels. Okay, before we can slap on those awesome textures, we got to do something called UV unwrapping. Think of it like this. You can't wrap a present if it's all crumpled up, right? We got to flatten it out first. UV unwrapping is basically taking our 3D model and laying it flat like a pancake, a digital pancake. This makes it way easier to paint on our textures and make sure everything lines up perfectly. Now, listen up because this part is important. Texture coordinates, or UVs, tell the computer where to put each part of our texture. They're like little GPS points for our pixels. We're talking longitude and latitude, but for your dragon scales or whatever awesome thing you're making, don't worry, it sounds more complicated than it is. We'll walk through it together, step by step. Chapter 4, Texture Types. So many textures, so little time. All right, let's talk about the stars of the show. The textures themselves. We've got a whole buffet of options here, people. Diffuse maps, those control the color and basic look of our model. Specular maps, those make things shiny and reflective. Then we've got normal maps. They're like the illusionists of the texture world, making flat surfaces look bumpy and detailed. Don't even get me started on ambient occlusion maps. Chapter 5. Material properties. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, so we've got our textures, but what about how they actually look? That's where material properties come in. We're talking about color, reflectivity, transparency, even how rough or smooth something feels. This is where you can really get creative and make your models look hyper-realistic. We're talking about making your friends think you snuck a real-life dragon into your computer. That's the goal here. Chapter 6, Shaders, the brains behind the beauty. Shaders, shaders, shaders. These little guys are the unsung heroes of 3D graphics. Think of them as the chefs who take all our ingredients, our textures, our lighting, and blend them together to create a delicious final product. We'll explore different types of shaders, from simple ones to super complex ones, so you can find the perfect recipe for your 3D masterpieces. Chapter 7, Material Types. It's all about that realism, baby. Now let's talk about how different materials react to light. We've got Lambert, Phong, Blinn and Cook torrents. Don't worry, I'm not just speaking gibberish. Each of these material types has its own way of reflecting light, which affects how realistic our models look. We'll break down the differences and show you how to choose the right one for the job. Chapter 8. Bump mapping, fake it till you make it. Want to add detail without actually adding polygons? Bump mapping is your new best friend. It's like giving your models a facelift, but instead of surgery, we're using grayscale images. Bump maps trick the eye into seeing bumps and dents, adding tons of detail without slowing down your computer. It's like black magic, but with less fire and brimstone. Chapter 9. Normal mapping, the detail kings. Normal mapping is like bump mapping's cooler, older sibling. Instead of just faking bumps and dents, normal maps actually change the direction of the light hitting your model. This creates incredibly detailed surfaces, from realistic skin to intricate carvings. It's like turning your 3D models into high-definition masterpieces. Chapter 10. Specular mapping, shine bright like a diamond. Last but not least, let's talk about making things shiny. Specular maps control how much light your model reflects, from a subtle sheen to a blinding glare. This is how we create realistic metals, sparkling gems, and anything else that needs that extra bit of pizzazz. Get ready to add some bling to your 3D creations. You did it! Time to celebrate with textures. And there you have it, folks. That's the lowdown on texturing and materials. Now go forth and create some amazing 3D models. I want to see those textures popping. I want to see those materials shimmering. I want to see you become the texture masters you were born to be. Thanks for watching. We hope this guide helps you create stunning 3D models with realistic textures and materials. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more tutorials.